And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Today, the media gets another glimpse of the Broncos. I know you're very excited about that.
You know, I actually am. I admit being a geek, and you know that I'm a geek. So it's okay. I can take the darts. I am looking forward to it. Every time that I get a look, I feel like I know just a little bit more. And I mean, it's only so much you can find out in the month of May, but it's good to get your eyes on some new players, and that'll be fun.
And oh, by the way, good on the Rockies, sweeping a 3-game series.
Yep.
Their first sweep in goodness knows how long. But unfortunately, I think with that sweep, they probably set another Major League Baseball record.
Oh, dear.
Now, this is one I made up in my head, honestly, about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
I have no factual proof of this, but I cannot imagine this is not an MLB record. I don't think any team in the history of Major League Baseball has gotten 25% of their wins this late in the season.
Yes, there you go. I would say that is probably a truth. Well done. Well done.
Even when something really good happens to the Rockies, they find a way to set a dubious MLB record.
I'm going to say this, though, for your benefit, because Hunter Goodman is your guy, Dan.
Why is he my guy?
Because his name is Goodman. I mean,
he's not Drew Goodman's guy?
I mean, well, it could be, I suppose. But
Benny Goodman's guy?
Hey, listen to this about this series, okay? Yeah. First of all, he's hitting now at like 286. He was 7 of 13 in this series, 6 extra base hits, including 3 home runs. He had a triple that started the scoring yesterday. The guy is at the very least, and I mean at the very least, this guy is interesting at this particular point in time. So there you go.
Very rarely is your catcher the best hitter on your team.
Right.
That might be another Major League Baseball record.
Yeah, you're right. Not since maybe Josh Gibson, and we're going back a day as your best hitter. You know, I mean, Yogi Berra had some pretty good years. I'd have to really get into it, but you're absolutely right. No, Johnny Bench, no. Well, not on that team. I mean, my God,
Mike Piazza maybe.
Yeah, Piazza hit for power and average. No, you're right, absolutely. But good for the Rockies. I will admit that I actually watched a little of that game yesterday. Kyle Freeland was really good into the 7th inning, and the bullpen ended up holding up, and they did a good job. Good win.
But were you hoping a little bit?
No.
What's wrong with asking the question? Just give me an answer. I don't think it's an outrageous question, is it?
I gave you the answer the other day when you tried to noodle me with this. And my answer is be spectacular in your suck. It's okay. Just go ahead and be historically bad and embrace it if that's what it's going to be.
The players are not going to, though.
No.
The players were overjoyed. Didn't they have did I read it correctly that a pizza party?
Did they really? A pizza party for the
sweep? That could be a fake story for all I know.
I like the pizza party. Pizza party for a series win and a sweep. Sweep, the first sweep in over a year. It's hard to believe.
Did they cut the pizza in 12 slices if indeed this story is true? And did they have orange slices and juice boxes?
Certificates of participation all around for the Rockies.
Correct. With that, I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years tomorrow, or I should say on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, June 11th, there is a police evidence auction featuring cell phones, tools, car stereos, televisions, computers, toys, printers, jewelry, and more. The online bidding has started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for The Lead.
The Lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
They're going to be out of practice today. I cannot imagine JK Dobbins is going to be rolled out of there, out of practice. He reportedly had dinner last night with George Payton, Sean Payton, some of the Broncos front office people. He's expected to take a tour of the facility today. Hopefully, while he's taking a tour, he doesn't get injured, because this guy has gotten injured a lot. Just don't allow this guy to walk any stairs. With that,
right.
He played 13 games with the Chargers last season. He rushed for a career high, 905 yards, tied a career high with 9 touchdowns. If they sign Dobbins, is his greatest value on the field production or in that running back room?
Well, I think he would bring value in both regards, but if you're asking which one is more, I think it's having the veteran presence in the room. That is one area that they don't have very much experience. They've got some young guys, some young talented guys. We don't know what we have in RJ Harvey yet. We have some suspicions. Audric Estime is still a work in progress. JK Dobbins is a tried and true veteran. But let's not forget, he's also a tried and true veteran that Jim Harbaugh was more than willing to part with and went after Najee Harris and then Omarion Hampton in the draft. So if you're looking for him in terms of an answer, I don't think that that's probably what he would be considered as. I think that he would be a guy that would be a nice piece from a depth standpoint and experience standpoint in a room that probably needs it.
Would you be surprised if he doesn't walk away with a contract today?
Yeah, this is a guy that I kind of liked right from the get-go in free agency, to be really honest. He was the guy that I thought, well, I mean, they're going to draft a running back, but it wouldn't be bad in free agency to tab this guy. Obviously, they've waited, so the price probably is pretty good. I think I think I probably would be a little surprised if he walked away. I think that now at the back end of this thing, this is something that Payton probably had marked on their calendar. Keep an eye on this guy, see what his availability is. They've had, a couple of weeks now of looking at these guys and seeing what they have. I don't think it's reflective of the ability or the perceived lack of ability in the room. I think it's another piece to the puzzle that they're putting together.
Yeah, they have a veteran presence
right
in every room. They don't have one in this room. If they're going to sign a veteran running back, it's going to be one of two choices. It's going to be JK Dobbins or Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
The problem is both of those guys come with a long, long list of knee injuries or Achilles injuries or other types of injuries, but they're also two different backs. Nick Chubb is more of an Estime, where that you have Dobbins more of a Harvey type of guy. It seemed to me, and I certainly know Dobbins' history as well as you do, it is hard to believe this guy's been in the league for only 4 years.
I know, it's hard. It is hard to believe. It
feels like he's been around forever. The problem is he is injured all of the time. So in the room, to me, is obviously the biggest value. It also, to me, would be a serious concern if J.K. Dobbins is your lead back coming out of training camp. No knock on him. That would be a knock on Harvey. Harvey's the more talented guy, period. He's more explosive, even though Dobbins is explosive. Dobbins was explosive before he started suffering all of these injuries.
Yeah.
He's terrific out of the backfield. He's a good blocking back. Everything comes down to, for Harvey, how quickly does he pick up pass protection?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Don't forget, J.K. Dobbins is coming off a really very good season, and there's no question the Chargers were a better team with him than without him. In the time that he was injured, it created some challenges for Jim Harbaugh, but he wasn't part of a piece moving forward. He wasn't part of the plan moving forward for the Chargers. So I think
Because you can't count on him.
yeah, right.
You can't count on him to stay healthy. Listen, he only missed 4 games last year. And for him, that is an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's
Not
right.
a knock on him. His
No.
body is failing him.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna fault the
exactly.
guy for that.
Well, I mean, he's following the general rule or format for most NFL running backs. At the end of 4 years, you better start checking the tread, man. I mean, and some guys miss more games than others. Some guys are more injury prone than others. And JK Dobbins, to no fault of his own, has been one of those guys. I mean, all you got to do is look at games missed over the course of time. He's missed a lot of football games. So not by his desire, but by the result of the way that he's played and those have played around him. So, those are the types of things that you got to take into account when you're building a roster.
I think that there are a lot of people out there in Broncos country that look at a potential signing of JK Dobbins as, okay, not so much that's our final piece to the puzzle, because I don't think anybody feels that way. But I think that people would be feeling too good about the signing, thinking that they're getting what JK Dobbins could have been instead of what he currently is now. In a lot of ways, he's very similar to Javonte Williams, because they had similar knee surgeries.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But the biggest difference is between JK Dobbins and Javonte Williams, one of the differences, but there are more similarities probably, is that JK Dobbins has far better vision on the field. To me, that was always the biggest knock on Javonte Williams. His vision wasn't very good, period.
Yeah.
But his vision is very good. But even if you can see a hole, if you're hobbled, you're not going to get through it.
If you can't see a hole before it's there,
that's half the battle.
That's half the battle. And
right.
You've got to have great vision. And that's what and you look for really good feet, you look for great vision, you look for explosive qualities. You obviously want to have someone that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And to your point, and we've talked about this a lot over the years, you've got to have guys that can protect, and you got to have willing protectors in that backfield, guys that are willing to take on bigger guys oftentimes to protect a quarterback. J.K. Dobbins is one of those guys, as Javonte Williams was. Javonte Williams was a very willing protector.
That's why I'm saying there are similarities.
Yes, there are.
Minus the vision.
Yep.
Injuries, similarities. Catching the ball in the backfield, similarities. Protecting the passer, similarities. Running the ball, Dobbins, more burst ability, if indeed that is a word. If not, I just made it up.
I like it.
If you don't know what it means, look it up in the Eric Goodman / Hunter Goodman dictionary.
Here's the thing, and you bring this up, and let me accentuate it. Don't look at, if you're bringing in a guy like J.K. Dobbins, make sure that you're probably gaining an understanding for what kind of role he's playing. He's a piece.
Yeah.
He's not the lead guy. You've got the 2 lead guys that you've already defined going into this season. But can he be a piece? Can he be another very valuable piece, a versatile piece? I mean, you're trying to build versatility in that running back room. And there are certainly plenty of coaches that love mixing and matching. However, Sean Payton has said 3 is a hell of a lot harder than 2 to deal with. I don't know if he's hedging his bets on either Harvey or Estime. I would say that Estime would probably be the logical assumption there if you're really looking for that. I don't think that he wants to go into the season from a standpoint of using 3 guys like he did a year ago. But that remains to be seen. Who knows? And we don't know about the tread on the tire for J.K. Dobbins. We know he's coming off another injury. That's what we know.
But he only missed 4 games last year,
You're
which
right.
is going in the right direction compared to the previous years. Here is a positive. If you sign JK Dobbins and he is not looked at as your featured back or maybe your second back, and is that what you are inferring? Is that what you are inferring?
I am inferring that. Yes.
Barring JK standing too close to the sidelines, he's not going to get injured. Meaning, it's going to be hard to be injured when you're not playing.
Right.
So it's a good safety blanket to have as long as you have him literally on that bench where if somebody, turns a corner next to the sidelines.
That's a good point, Eric. Yeah.
I would it's not that I would bubble wrap him, but I would literally force him to sit on the bench. So if somebody, if there's a swing pass and the play goes out of bounds, I don't want JK anywhere near that potential play standing on the sidelines, because knowing his injury history, he will get injured by some tackler who's accidentally hitting JK out of bounds. Put him on the bench if you have to. As you can tell, I'm saying all of this sarcastically.
I know you're saying it sarcastically, but I think there's probably some truth to the notion of build our depth to a point that if it's challenged at some point, we can move with a guy like this who has been a proven lead guy. He is. I mean, I think you can look at him and say he's proven it as recently as last year. But you don't want him to be probably your guy right out of the gate. No.
Let's look at it this way, like a backup quarterback. One of the goals of of having a backup quarterback who can play is you don't want him to play the whole season.
No.
You want him to be able to fill in for a couple of games, and then your starter comes back. If you're playing your backup quarterback, the majority of the season, every team is pretty much screwed. With that, JK Dobbins is a starting running back who could not only fill in for 2 games for you, but give you significant production.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not even going to say wishfully, the hope would be that he could be a plug and play guy whenever you needed him to do so.
Yes.
Injury, whatever the case may be, plug and play this guy and you don't significantly drop off in your potential production.
Right.
That's a nice luxury to have. But Eric, it also fits into what the Broncos are doing with their roster. They're in a position now where they're making additions to their roster, not as much out of need, but a little bit more out of luxury. And that's overstating it a little bit. But they now can piece together, they can use a roster spot, say on a JK Dobbins, without thinking that you've got to use a JK Dobbins as your front guy.
Can I give you a little pushback on that?
Feel free.
Okay. If Dobbins signs, he'll be the 4th veteran joining the Broncos who dealt with injuries last season.
Mm-hmm.
And for JK Dobbins, he had the least amount of time missed.
Mm-hmm.
Dre Greenlaw missed almost the entire season.
15 games.
Hufanga missed 10 games. Ingram missed
8.
a bunch.
Yeah.
The Broncos have done a great job of keeping their guys healthy since Sean Payton has been the head coach. But are they putting too much faith in their methods when signing free agents? And now are considering Dobbins, thinking, okay, if we can keep our own guys healthy, we can keep these guys healthy.
It's a legitimate question when you consider between them, the number of games that they all missed last year. And you're counting certainly on 3 of those guys. We'll see about JK Dobbins.
Those are frontline guys.
Those are guys that you're expecting to play from jump. So
Dobbins is the luxury.
Yes.
But you said they're in a position where they can do a luxury pick. Greenlaw, Hufanga, Ingram, they're not luxury guys. They're guys they're expecting to start and hoping Bo Lowry has that magic elixir potion that I'm sure is loaded with a few extra meds or
I thought you were going to go with.
All right, coming up after the break, the Avalanche have solved the riddle. Who's going to be their second center? And before you say, "Oh, they should have brought back Nazem Kadri," we got some numbers to throw at you to kind of tamp that down. That's next. Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of Spider Cruisers or over $15,000 in cash the weekend of July 18th, just in time for the Sturgis Bike Rally in South Dakota. That's right, your choice, cruisers or $15,000 in cash. Get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes. Goodman and Haertl want to tell you about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. What a terrific place to go if you're looking for great barbecue. It is the best barbecue spot in town. At least that's my opinion. I've been to a lot of them. But I also think it's one of the best restaurants in town as well. They have so many different options, but they're so creative with their menu as well. Here's a good example. The smoked meatloaf. It has chorizo, sweet Italian sausage, porter beer, smoked cheddar, served with sauté onions and mushrooms in a balsamic vinegar. That's a wonderful cream sauce. When I first ordered it, I got it to go, and I saw this, jug of stuff. I didn't know what went on the meatloaf. I just started eating with a spoon. Andy said it goes on the meatloaf. Wow, both are really good. Guess we basically got 2 meals here out of one, but it was actually only one meal.
Oh,
Sides are great. Desserts are all homemade. Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. You can find them off of 36th and Pecos. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
Avalanche have signed Brock Nelson, 3-year deal worth $22.5 million. The agreement solidifies their biggest offseason need, which was securing a second-line center. How much better do you feel about the Avs securing another cup by bringing back Nelson?
isn't this the guy they needed to extend or needed to re-sign? I thought so. I thought he was a real difference maker from the time he arrived from the Islanders. He was productive in both locales. He's a good second line scoring player. Has good experience. He's got great size. Seems to fit what the Avs are looking for in the way that they get up the ice. It seems like one that is a pretty good deal to me, and you're paying him what? I think the average is what, $7.5 million a year.
Yep.
That seems like a pretty good signing to me. And it leaves you also now. I mean, what happens with Ross Colton? He becomes your third line guy. I mean,
They have about $1.2 million to play with.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Now they have to be creative.
Right.
Are they going to trade someone? Does Sam Girard get traded? What do you do with Ross Colton?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to find a way to make some more room. But here's the thing. For what they gave up for Brock Nelson, they had to sign him. They gave up Callum Ritchie, their top prospect. They gave up a first-round pick in this year's draft, a third-round pick in next year's draft. They had to re-sign him. And he was going to be highly sought after anyway. You know, I believe his hometown or his home state is Minnesota. The Wild were getting ready to make him an offer. 3 years, $7.5 million. I know what people are going to say, and I've already heard it and read it on Twitter. Oh, my God, they could have gotten Nazem Kadri for that. You know what? Yes, numbers are higher for Brock Nelson. $1.5 million over the course of those 3 years. Nazem Kadri, you have to remember, got a 7-year deal.
Yeah.
Averaging $7 million a year. Kadri's contract is a year longer than Nelson's right now, and he's also a year older. And he is also more physical. Not a knock, by the way, on Brock Nelson, but that's just the type of game Kadri plays.
Okay, let me ask.
Salary cap was different
Right.
2-3 years ago than it is now.
You made an interesting statement, and so let me ask you a little bit more about what you meant. They had to re-sign Brock Nelson. I don't disagree with
They
you.
had to.
But how are you with the signing, just on the player and fit alone?
Considering what they are getting at the price they are getting, there aren't a lot of options out there for a second line center in free agency. And the options are paying even more, which certainly they cannot do. What I'm about to say is I'm not always a huge fan of stats because stats don't always tell the story. So I'll let you take this for what it is worth. Over his last 3 seasons, Nazem Kadri has 88 goals, 198 points, while playing on the Flames' top line and top power play. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Brock Nelson playing with the Islanders last 2.5 seasons, then the final 19 last season with the Avalanche, 96 goals, 200 points. Numbers are better for Brock Nelson.
Yeah.
Just the numbers. Stats don't always tell the story. I understand that Nazem Kadri is a folk hero around here, and rightfully so.
Right.
He's a big reason why they won the cup. Again, it's not a slam on Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri wanted 7 years. That would have been idiotic to give a guy that type of deal going into his 38th year or maybe 39th year.
Yes.
It didn't make any sense at all then. It doesn't make any sense right now. I mean, would you give Nazem Kadri 4 years at $28 million right now over Brock Nelson, 3 years at $22.5 million?
No.
That's an apples to apples conversation because that's where we are at today. But considering what the Avalanche had to give up to get Brock Nelson, they had planned on signing him. He had 4 assists in 7 playoff games. Yeah, you want him to score goals?
Sure.
I get it. Next year, he'll be paired with Landeskog and Nichushkin, barring major injuries to both of them or something else with Nichushkin.
Might be the best second line in the league.
Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of it, believe it or not, has to do with Brock Nelson.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I was really pleased when I saw it. And to your point, you knew that it was coming, and you spell it out real well. I mean, who they gave up for him, the role that he fills, the need that the team has with the role that he fills. It all made it almost a fait accompli. I like what Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic are doing, and I like what they're doing going all the way back retroactively, even though you can make the argument that it nipped him in the butt with Mikko Rantanen. I think just the understanding of where they needed.
Wait. How many goals did Rantanen have in last night's Stanley Cup final?
That would be 0. In fact, in his last 9 games, he didn't score in the playoffs. He didn't score a goal. So
he was a feast or famine guy. He had 2
totally,
hat-tricks. One of them was an empty netter. And
Yeah.
oh, by the way, again, he was not traded to the Dallas Stars.
Yes.
Carolina didn't want him.
Right. And Joe Sakic, the most salient moment in that press conference was, we could not sustain a Stanley Cup roster
Correct.
by keeping him and those 3 or 4 guys at the top of the pay scale and develop a roster that could win a Stanley Cup. So
Okay. Here,
come on.
listen. For those that agreed with the trade, me included, very much, it's not because I wanted Mikko Rantanen gone.
No.
It's not because I don't think he's a really, really good player, and he's potentially a top 10 player in this league. Do I think he's a top 10 player without McKinnon and Makar? I don't. Is he a top 20 player? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Sakic said it well. For those of you that want to say giving up Rantanen cost them a chance at a cup, maybe not. He certainly didn't help the Stars, who beat the Avalanche.
Yep.
And the Stars, by the way, beat the Avalanche without their top goal scorer and their top defenseman. I guess the question is, are you willing to go all in for one season, this past season, to win a cup with Rantanen? Are you, knowing you're screwed starting next year? Are you willing? Are you that confident in the Avalanche doing that?
Fair question.
I'm not willing to roll that dice.
I don't, and neither was Joe Sakic.
I'm not willing to roll that dice knowing I have McKinnon and Makar on the roster.
Right.
I'm willing to go in if other things are different on the roster, what the payroll looks like. You are literally screwing Makar and McKinnon's future with this team by gambling on one playoff run.
Here's my question for you. Is Sammy Girard on this roster next year?
At $5 million, he's a deal for somebody else.
Right.
But you could also use that money for something else.
Sure.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.